Because I don't say when it goes up.
Minnesota will start with possession. The Timberwolves beat the Lakers in 5 games in the first round and have a 2-1 series lead here in San Francisco. Great hands by Green to get the deflection. Edwards keeps possession, though. Edwards on the ball fake. Will try a 3. In and out to start the game. Rebound Green. He had just 2 rebounds, fouled out. Draymond did with 5 minutes to go in the loss the other night. Good start for him with the first points of the game.
Yeah, great start defensively as well. Gets the deflection. They've got him on Rudy Gobert primarily so he can roam more defensively, but that's a nice start for him offensively, being aggressive up the floor.
Matching his total from last game. He had 5 turnovers in that game 3 loss. Here's Butler on the cut, and he missed the layup, but a foul. Butler did not score the final 8 minutes of that game, and he missed a lot of layups. McDaniels commits the foul. 2 free throws for Butler.
This is a big part of emphasis for the Golden State Warriors in this game, the push ahead. They did not really get anything in transition in game 3. Already 2 quick pushes up the floor leads to an early jumper for Draymond, and now 2 easy ones at the line for Jimmy Butler.
Just 11 combined free throw attempts for Butler in the first 2 games. 9 free throw attempts in game 3.
Well, this matches Draymond Green's offensive output from game 3 on his first possession of the night. He just had a very quiet game all the way around. He knows he's going to have to step up as a scorer in addition to all the other things he does tonight to help them win.
Butler missed the second free throw, played 43 minutes. Steve Kerr said he was exhausted at the end of the game. One of the reasons why he struggled offensively in the final 8 minutes. Randall missed the turnaround. Green another rebound. They want Green to really handle the ball a lot tonight. Kind of like a point forward. They need to get up and down the court, says Kerr. Podziemski puts it up and in. Podziemski just 1 basket the other night.
Well, the 2 guys we mentioned at the start have to get offensive contributions from your starters.
Randall drills a 3. Julius Randle averaging 23 points per game in the playoffs. Green goes right at the chest of Randall. Randall, year 11, spent the last 5 years with the Knicks, missed the playoffs last year due to injury, but he is more than made up for it. He's got all 5 here for Minnesota.
And they've had a difficult time with Julius Randle. Anytime he gets a switch with a smaller defender, he is just putting that shoulder down and getting to the rim.
He's a great passer as well, which we saw. Anthony Edwards hit the dagger 3 in that game 3 win, and it was Randle with a terrific driving kick. Buddy Hield fouled on the drive. Hield did not score in the first half of game 3, but had 14 points in game 4. He was the game 7 hero in the first round in Houston with 9 threes in that road win to win the first round series.
And he had 14, and you'll take 14 out of Buddy Hield if you're Steve Kerr. That's a good night for Buddy Hield. He did all of his damage in the second half. You got that. You certainly got an incredible performance out of Kuminga. So the challenge for the Warriors is just going to be offensively. Can you get to a number that gives you a chance to win? And if you're in the game, how do you close?
And if you're Minnesota, do you to what you very obviously it's a lot easier to defend the Warriors, or if you're Chris Finch, do you just stick with what worked?
I think he thought Jonathan Kuminga had a little bit too much impact in that game. He said he's hurt him all year, but they certainly didn't expect. Although they think they can live with another 30 out of Kuminga, so he becomes.
Edwards splits the defenders, got fouled on the drive. That's the first on Golden State. It's on Jackson Davis, who played just 11 minutes in game 3, but had 7 points and a block. And they're going to say it was in the act of shooting.
Yeah, I mean, he had the gather. That ball was coming up off the floor in 2 hands. He just took that long extra stride, which made it seem like he had the ball maybe on the ground another time or too low, but he had that ball up into the gathered and shooting motion when he had contact.
36th career playoff game for Anthony Edwards. And in game 3 had his 9th career 35-point game. That's the second most by a player 23 years of age or younger in NBA history. Luka Doncic is number 1. Hield immediately doubled. Shot clock down to 2. Butler sees it. Hoists the 3. Way off the mark. And out of bounds. Golden State basketball.
Well, that set took forever to develop. They were trying to get Buddy Hield coming off a couple of screens to the strong side, but by the time that action was exhausted, you were deep into the clock, and Jimmy Butler was forced to take a 3 at the end of the clock.
Hield. Shot clock down to 5. Finds Butler. Through the lane. Handoff. Jackson Davis. And Gobert. Great defense. The 3 ball won't go from Hield as the buzzer sounds. Gobert terrific defensively, especially in the fourth quarter of Game 3. The Warriors were 0 for 7 from the floor, with Gobert the nearest defender in that final frame. Shot clock down to 5 for Minnesota. Edwards reverse layup. No good. Gobert trying to tip it to himself, and Podziemski tried to save it and threw it to Randall. Got a clock issue. That's the reason for the stoppage. Put the shot clock at 21. Minnesota struggling from the floor early on, 2 of 7. Warriors are 2 of 5. Warriors 0 for 2 from 3. They didn't make a 3 until the second half of Game 3. Ended up hitting 10 rather in that second half.
Yeah, Golden State's defense kept them in the game the other night. It does most nights. But then the stars from Minnesota just really got it done in the second half to close that game. The Golden State here, good job contesting Randall in the post.
Here's Podziemski on the drive. Pull-up jumper. It's good. Great sign for Golden State with Podziemski already with more baskets here in the first 4 minutes than he had all of Game 3. He was 1 for 10 on Saturday. Edwards swishes home a 3 ball.
Very important for Golden State when you get penetration along the baseline from one side of the floor. Anthony Edwards loves to run to the corner on the opposite side. That whole drive base, kick base mentality. Anthony Edwards, such a threat. You cannot lose contact with him.
Delay of game warning on Minnesota. The next one would be a technical foul and a free throw for the Warriors. Butler trying to shake McDaniels. And now Hield rises up. Not even close on that triple try, but it's poked out to Green. Green calling for the ball screen. Now the switch. Gobert's on him. Entry pass, Jackson Davis, strong move. Blew the layup, but he was fouled, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Well, Jackson Davis was inserted into the starting lineup in Game 3 because of how well he played in Game 2, and they need more size and athleticism, and he can do this. He's a big body. You throw it into him. He's athletic. He can get off the floor. I think if I'm Julius Randle, though, I'm not trying to take a foul right there this early in the game on that. You're in a compromised position. Very difficult to make a play there. Give up the layup and keep that foul out of the column.
That is his first. Jackson Davis shoots under 40% from the floor here in the postseason.
Here's what I'm talking about. You see Buddy Hield turn his head to watch the action as Mike Conley was driving baseline. Anthony Edwards went into a lull, and it gave Buddy Hield a false sense of security. When he turned his head, Anthony Edwards sprinted to the open spot and knocked down a 3.
Meanwhile, Jackson Davis 1 of 2, now 5 of 13 at the line in the playoffs. The Warriors tonight are just 3 of 6 at the line. Tie game, 5 minutes in, 9 apiece. Warriors trying to even this series up, which would help get Steph Curry back. He'll be reevaluated on Wednesday. That off period before Sunday's Game 6 when he might be able to return. Empty possession for Minnesota. Again, pushing tempo as Steve Kerr wants. Butler 0 for opening 2 minutes. Podziemski against McDaniels. Tough shot on the elbow, fall away, offensive board by Butler. Draymond Green, he'll fire and hit a 3.
Three-point shooting for Draymond, we know, can come and go. It's streaky. He had 4 of them in Game 1. Good start tonight on his first three-point attempt.
He's got 5 points for the Warriors. McDaniels going at Butler, rises up over him and cans the 15-foot J.
Well, I'm so impressed with what he's added to his game. He was primarily just a spot-up three-point shooter or slasher. Even mid-season, he has added the ability to do that. Get to his shot off the dribble, find his spot.
And from three-point range, he's shooting 40% of the playoffs. Nice catching traffic, Butler, swing by Payton. Pajemski no on the three. Rebound Gobert, quick outlet Conley. Races up the court, nobody stops ball, and Conley hits a three. Timeout Steve Kerr. Minnesota with 5 quick points to retake the lead.
Similar start as the other night, trading baskets here early. Draymond Green, you know he was going to be more aggressive after game 3, and Mike Conley says, thank you, please. I don't get many of these.
Welcome back to the conference semifinals delivered by Chipotle. When Jimmy Butler joined the Warriors, Steve Kerr did not like when Butler and Jonathan Kuminga were on the floor together. So much so, it led to Kuminga falling out of the rotation entirely. But this morning, Kuminga said he learned a lot from his time on the bench. Just watching Jimmy play, how everyone moved around him. Kuminga also said he watched a ton of Jimmy's film, and the more he studied, the more he understood how he needed to play alongside Butler. He just needed a chance to be able to prove it. So when unfortunately Steph went out, Kuminga stepped in, and he hasn't missed a beat, which is a testament, you guys, to Kuminga handling a very difficult situation the right way, Dave.
Katie, it's really a great story. He dealt with injuries for most of the year, and by the time he came back, Jimmy Butler had already been playing with the Warriors for a month, so it was hard for him to adjust. And as you said, at the end of the regular season, was benched, and we didn't know we'd even see him in the playoffs, but now he might be their second most important offensive player.
And against a team this long and athletic defensively, you need Kuminga because he can do things like that. Improvise offense because of his size and his ability to get off the floor, even against bigger backline defenders. Great start, just checking in the game. First touch, gets a layup.
22-year-old in his 4th NBA season, former number 7 overall pick. Naz Reid checking into the game with the skip pass to McDaniels. On the baseline, the jumper is off target, but a foul on Draymond Green. First on Green. Second on the Warriors.
It's just an overzealous closeout. Jaden McDaniels, you know, it's just a mid-range 15-foot two-point shot. If he makes that, Draymond Green is too valuable to the Warriors to risk a foul on a contest on that type of shot. But there you see Kuminga, Dave, and what we're talking about, picking up right where he left off on Saturday.
He had 18 points in game 2. And then that sensational game 3. Michelob Ultra Zero is bringing fans chances to win prizes throughout the NBA playoffs. Scan for your chance to win. McDaniels made the first free throw. Minnesota now 3 of 4 as a team at the line. The Warriors are 3 of 6. Minnesota by 2. 5 minutes to play in the opening quarter. And Draymond Green, a primary ball handler with this group on the floor. 2 field goals tonight, none in the first half of game 3. And a foul on DiVincenzo. Been a struggle for Dante. Been a non-factor so far in this series.
Really action. He set the screen for Draymond and then peeled right back to the ball. DiVincenzo was trailing, and he just wanted so desperately to get out on the closeout. Pajemski saw it, drew the foul.
Pajemski penetrates, hangs, missed it, poked out to Edwards. Quickly up the court, feeding Randall. Gonna back down Draymond Green. Now falls away. It's good. Julius Randle with 7 early points.
That's just the shot he hasn't been missing, and it's the area of the floor he's been giving the Warriors a nightmare with.
Jackson Davis with the flush. Randall got enough airspace to can a three-pointer. And he's got 2 threes in the game and 10 of the 21 Minnesota points.
And a big smile on his face, and I can see why. Right now the game is very easy for Julius Randle. Everything is happening in the flow.
Green up top, made one earlier, makes another one. Draymond Green, 2 for 2 from deep. They double Randall, he lost it out of bounds. First turnover for Minnesota tonight.
And I like that. I think when Julius Randle starts to operate and you give him too many dribbles, even that far out on the floor, and he's going to get in into the area of the offense where they score, and he's going to facilitate, pick you apart. So I thought that was a well-timed double team coming out of that spin, and the Warriors forced a turnover.
Jimmy Butler back on the floor. They got him a little rest here in the first quarter. Green will take a seat. Looney's out there now as well for the Warriors. Butler just 0 for 1 from the floor, looking to facilitate early on. Kuminga's 3, no good. Randall rebounds.
That's a good find, but I think Jimmy Butler had an opportunity there to score inside 5 feet.
Randall thought he was fouled, missed the shot. Podziemski quickly up the court. Kuminga with the step and kick. Here's Payton for 3, and he got it. Golden State retakes the lead.
Well, the Warriors did not have a single made 3 in the first half of game 3. Already 3 tonight. Draymond Green with a pair, and then Gary Payton steps up and knocks one down as well. 7 different Warriors have scored to this point. So you're getting other contributions. As a result, Jimmy Butler right now with 1 point, and he doesn't look as aggressive as he did at the beginning of game 3. And I think possibly, as long as they're in the game and managing the game like this, he may be conserving some energy for later, because he ran out of gas, I believe, down the stretch the other night.
6 assists on 8 made baskets for the Warriors. You mentioned the 3 made threes. Minnesota, meanwhile, is 4 of 5 from three-point range. Julius Randle, 2 of 2. He's got 10 points. Draymond Green with 8 to lead the Warriors. It's game 4. Minnesota's up 2-1 in the series. Game 5 will be Wednesday night in Minneapolis. Wolves trying to sweep this 2-game set out west as DiVincenzo hangs but missed it. Gobert can't tip it in, but he was fouled. Going to be a loose ball foul. It's on Butler. That's his first.
Yeah, it's so difficult when Rudy Gobert just gets entrenched in this area of the floor. To get him out of there, he's so long, quick off his feet. First one to the ball right there, created by DiVincenzo's drive. There's a void there when the shot blockers go to help.
Naz Reid shooting 50% from 3 in the postseason, but drives here and kisses it home off the glass. He's probably one of the more underrated offensive players in the league.
Well, and that's the toughest shot he has made in this series. That was an incredibly difficult runner off the glass. Still got it up there soft.
Now Kuminga attacking, got bumped. Missed the shot, but it'll go to the line. The Warriors have already taken 6 free throws. First foul on Reid. 15 foul.
You know, Saturday, Naz Reid did all his damage from the three-point line, and he puts it down this time. And that is reminiscent of a shot you would typically see from Anthony Edwards. So Naz Reid going into his bag here early to get something on the board.
And Kuminga nails the free throws. We look at our upcoming playoff schedule, brought to you by Bacardi Rums. TNT tomorrow night. Can the Pacers win in Cleveland and knock off the team with the best record in the East and go to the conference finals for the 2nd straight year? Meanwhile, Denver at Oklahoma City. That series tied 2-2. NBA.com. Visit the NBA app for more. And obviously, we're waiting an update on Jason Tatum's injury suffered in the loss to the Knicks in Game 4 tonight at the Garden. New York is up 3-1 in that series. Here's Edwards, straight on triple. Short. Rebound Looney. Kuminga 4 points off the bench. Butler still just 1 shot attempt, 1 point, 1 assist, 1 rebound. Butler gets inside his defender, spins and tried to shovel it to Looney. Got hit in the face, and he's still doubled over on the other end. Reid underneath. That ball hit the net. He tried to get it to Anthony Edwards. And good defense. Looney went straight up, and Edwards touched it while he was out of bounds, so it's Warriors ball.
Well, Give the Warriors credit there. They only had 4 defenders as Jimmy Butler never made it over half court. Kevon Looney going vertical to get that contest.
And you saw Steve Kerr egging on Jonathan Kuminga to get into the front court and run. And that's why. Kuminga to the basket. He's 2 for 3 from the floor.
They don't want to play against Minnesota's half-court defense all night. That is why Steve Kerr is going to be telling them to push at every opportunity.
Boy, DiVincenzo continues to struggle mightily. He's shooting 20% from three-point land in the playoffs. 3-point the Warriors. Kuminga to the foul line. Backs away and around and down. Foul, but eventually fell. Kuminga providing a huge.
Now, as he knows, he's got the greenest of green lights tonight. So you're seeing him probe a little bit more with the dribble and getting to a spot that he's comfortable with.
Edwards struggling again in the first half tonight, but hits there. He was just 1 for 6 from the floor before that make. 28 of his 36 points in game 3 came in the second half.
And so tough with that step back because you're constantly worried about him turning the corner on you. So as you retreat, he puts on the brakes and separates with the lean back.
Looney out to Kuminga. Corner 3, Payton way off the mark. 10 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. Edwards fouled by Payton. They had one to give. That's his first personal. They side out of bounds with 4.1 left here in the quarter. And they're going to get Draymond Green back in the game for defense and take Buddy Hield out.
Important here defensively, no matter what happens, that Draymond Green does not pick up his second foul in this last 4 seconds of the opening quarter.
Inbound to Alexander Walker. 3 seconds left. He drives and scores against Draymond Green. 1 second left. Baseball pass down court. Payton with the catch. Oh, around and out for Payton. But the Warriors have a 1-point lead after 1. Draymond Green and Jonathan Kuminga with 8 points apiece for Golden State. Julius Randle has 10 for Minnesota. Warriors trying to even the series at 2 games apiece.
It's time for tonight's Access, brought to you by Popeyes. We're on the sidelines with Chris Finch. Chris, what did you think of your defensive start?
Well, a little loose on some of our coverages. We got to get out to contest some of these shots, too.
What did you like about the way Julius found his rhythm within the flow of the offense?
Yeah, it came out being aggressive just like every game so far this series, so we're going to need that.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
There's no question Katie Randall had an outstanding quarter. It's been a great postseason for him. 10 points to lead all scorers, to go with 3 rebounds and a steal. Had a triple-double, the first of his playoff career, in the Game 3 win. Hield got caught in the air, feeds Looney, who had to put it up with a second on the shot clock, and scores.
It's great awareness on both players. Buddy Hield going up in the air. He wanted to let that fly. It would have been at least tipped, if not fully blocked. Finds Looney at the last second. The awareness and the soft touch to get one to go.
Randall lost the ball, but a foul. They get Kevon Looney on the reach in, his first on the Warriors here in the quarter. The bench for Golden State outscoring Minnesota's reserves 13-4 so far here in the first half. First free throws of the game for Julius Randle. 2-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Star. Dealt with some injuries this year, had to find his role. And at the time when the trade was made, a lot of people thought, well, Minnesota's going to take a step back. And if you look at their regular season record, they did. But perhaps they're maybe even more dangerous because of the type of player Randall is compared to Towns, who's been great in New York, clearly. But Randall, a much better passer, as we saw in the last 2 games.
Well, spacing was different for him when he got here. I think the thing that Chris Finch has really been impressed by was how good he is with the ball and his ability to make decisions from the power forward position.
Kuminga again puts it on the deck. Nice feed underneath to Looney. And Looney, though, missed it. Got it back. Rims out. And Reed snatches that away from Looney. Reed on the step back, and that's good, a three. Naz Reid shooting better than 50% from behind the arc in the playoffs, 21 of 41.
That's ridiculous skill set right there for a 6'11" player to stop that quickly, get low, accelerate on a contested three.
Former undrafted player, sixth man of the year last year. Turnover, Kuminga. Reed up the floor to the corner. Conley, Alexander Walker, the trailer three is good. And he did not score in game 3, at 20 in game 2.
Turnovers were a big part of the first half on Saturday. Golden State did a great job in that first quarter with just one turnover.
Podziemski, no. Jimmy Butler's not even getting touches right now. It's an 8-0 Minnesota run. Butler still has just one shot attempt and 1 point. And a foul on Podziemski. No basket. Second team foul. First personal on Brandon.
Yeah, Steve Kerr said #1 priority in this series for them defensively was to take away the three-point line, chase guys off it. That's just a really tough shot by Naz Reid, but this one came out of a loose ball turnover. Go the other way, and that's when you're susceptible to trail threes.
Randle with a jab step, fires. Julius Randle 3 for 3 from behind the arc. 11-0 Minnesota run. Hield for 3, answers, swishing it home.
That's a big shot for Buddy Hield right there to stop some of this momentum. Right now, Golden State's got to take away this three-point line because Minnesota is getting very comfortable.
Randle with a spin, fumbles it away, scoops it up. Shot clock at 10. First points of the game, by the way, for Buddy Hield. Three-pointer, no good. McDaniels. First field goal, I should say, for Hield. He does have a made free throw. Golden State ball down 5. Now Butler gets a touch on the perimeter. Puts it on the deck. Missed it, but the second time, it's good. First field goal for Butler, and a forced turnover. Reed lost the ball. 5 quick points for the Warriors. Kuminga. Bodies hit the floor. Kuminga gets to the basket and scores.
Well, the two stars from Saturday starting to show some life here as Jimmy Butler gets to the rim. Kuminga as well. Golden State answering that run by Minnesota.
And now a foul as Randle was trying to turn the corner. They get Looney for a second personal. Randle needs some help off the floor. 13 foul.
Really smart play, that drive right there by Jimmy Butler. He saw Naz Reid was the big as a helper was up high, so he went baseline and just overwhelmed Nickeil Alexander-Walker, gets his own tip. And then here Kuminga, a little bit of a push off to create some space, but no whistle, stayed with it, kept his balance, and extended to the rim.
He's got 10 points in 9 minutes off the bench for the Warriors, who are back within 1. Getting a breather here with the 8:30 mark. Payton back on the floor. Podziemski to the bench. Jackson Davis returning. Anthony Edwards rested for about 3.5 minutes. He's back out there for Minnesota, just 2 of 7 from the floor. Randle thought about the swing, instead drives. Powerful move by Julius Randle, and the kiss off glass.
Yeah, that is a powerful move, but if you're Trace Jackson Davis, when you close out the Julius Randle at the three-point line, you have to jump on that left hand. He's just not nearly as good finishing going right to the rim.
Hield's 3 off target. Randle rebounds. 5 boards, 17 points. Julius Randle in the zone right now. 3 for 3 from three-point range as well. McDaniels on the back down. Now Butler switches out on to Julius Randle with a shot clock at 6. Randle gathers, launches, and scores with 1 on the shot clock. He can't miss right now.
Putting on a show offensively. He's hit every shot imaginable here in the first half.
Green turns it over. McDaniels in the open floor with the step through, hang, and finish against Draymond Green. Timeout, Golden State. The lead for Minnesota back to 7. Badges to win prizes with the NBA ID Playoffs Challenge. Members in the U.S. and Canada who complete the challenge get the chance at a trip to the NBA Draft. Play now in the NBA app or on NBA.com/ID. Meanwhile, Julius Randle going off here in the first half.
Yeah, Saturday he had a triple-double and he still put in 24 points, but I was most impressed with his playmaking. Not the case here. He is finding his spots, getting to the three-point shot, and again, if you let him go left hand downhill, he is going to play right through any kind of contact. And then when it's your night, it's your night to fade away as the clock expires.
3 for 3 this quarter from the field with 7 points, 19 points in all. We were talking a second ago about winning an opportunity to go to the NBA draft. If you do, you'll be able to watch the Dallas Mavericks take Cooper Flagg because they won the NBA lottery earlier tonight.
The general consensus is that's a can't-miss franchise player down the road.
Muscling that one in as Jimmy Butler got rid of McDaniels on the drive. So 5 points now for Butler. Minnesota shooting 53% from the floor despite Anthony Edwards 2 of 7.
Golden State trying a zone here for the first time. Trying to do something different to give Julius Randle a little different look on his driving lanes.
Randle off the mark. His first miss from three-point range. Warriors slowing it down here. A lot of traffic at the top of the circle. Pass from Butler, hit heel, but saved by Payton. Timer at 4. Butler aware. Spins into the paint. Getting the bounce. Jimmy Butler going now.
That's one of the few times he's had the ball at the top of the key in this series and did not have a help defender waiting for him at the elbows. So he took advantage of all that space to get into his spin.
Golden State back within 3. Midway point of the second quarter. DiVincenzo lost the ball. And then Draymond Green tried to tie him up. And Chris Finch got a timeout.
Well, Jimmy Butler heated up early in game 3. Took a little bit longer in this one, but starting to find his rhythm.
Jaden McDaniels says guarding Jimmy Butler is such a difficult task. He has to remind himself to be patient. He said Butler incorporates a lot of pump fakes after his moves. He spins. He also has a big pivot game, so you can't bite. McDaniels said Butler's also super physical, so if you're not patient, he might get you on a fake or get you to reach in while he's crashing into you. So being aware of those tendencies is really important. That Butler, guys, has gotten the best of McDaniels the last few trips down, Dave.
Yes, he has. He's made 3 straight shots, Katie, after starting 0 for 2. Jaden McDaniels, one of the best defenders. He's about 6'9", 6'10". He's so long. Second team all defense last year.
And his reach, I mean, it's about 7'4". You know, he puts a hand up, slides well laterally. It's like an eclipse. You can't really see the basket. You got to get plenty of separation from McDaniels.
Second foul on Payton. And the 4th team foul on Golden State. No fouls yet on Minnesota. 3-point lead for the Wolves. Golden State's answered every Minnesota run so far in this game.
And back into the zone here. I just like this look. Can't do it for long, but for a few possessions at a time can be very effective.
Reed with the shot clock at 3. And a steal by Payton. Back to Heel. Now Payton in the paint. Missed a teardrop. It somehow ends up back in his hands. He missed again, but then tips it in. They're going to say basket interference.
Well, I know he ends up with basket interference, and he's not going to get these 2 points, but I was so impressed with how quickly he got off the ground. 3 different jumps before anybody else on Minnesota really moved. Unfortunate for him. Doesn't get one of those first 2 to go.
But as you saw there from the replay, clearly offensive basket interference, so no bucket, 44-41. DiVincenzo finally knocks down a 3-pointer, his first points of the game.
Not sure anybody in this game needed that more than Donte DiVincenzo, the way he has struggled with his shooting.
Green from the corner, an air ball. He's made a couple threes, though, in this game. DiVincenzo lobs down court. McDaniels with the deep catch. Out to Edwards. Edwards on the blow by, the hang, and the finish with the left hand. Relatively quiet half for Edwards. 8 points. The lead back to 8 for the Wolves. Matches their largest of tonight. Hield for 3. Good!
That's great pin down action for Golden State. And Buddy Hield came up. Jaden McDaniels closing on that shooting and still gets it to go.
DiVincenzo missed the step through. Green quickly ahead, stolen away by Edwards. 3 on 2. Edwards pull up three-pointer. Rebound Hield. 5-point lead for Minnesota, trying to take a 3-1 series lead. Hield gets past McDaniels. McDaniels grabs a hold of him. Steve Kerr wants them to look at this for a flagrant foul. Second personal on McDaniels. First team foul.
Yeah, Buddy Hield showing you we can put it down as well. That's not much of a play on the basketball right there. As Jaden McDaniels comes first down, hard on that shoulder around the neck area, and then grabs onto the jersey.
And Buddy Hield was down on the floor. Just got helped up a second ago. Looks to be all right. They are going to go to the monitor. This was earlier in the possession. Yeah, McDaniels didn't like what Buddy Hield was doing to him, and so maybe a little retaliation foul.
I think you might well see a flagrant one.
As a potential flagrant foul.
I think because of the proximity, to his head, that's up around the shoulder neck area when he swings down. Again, really just trying to prevent Buddy Hield from getting off the ground. It's not a play on the ball. The jersey grab really incidental to the whole thing. It's more about that initial contact when he sweeps down right there, up in that shoulder neck area.
And then the grabbing of the jersey afterwards put the offensive player in a dangerous position. If you pull on that jersey, kind of like a horse collar in football. And it's a shooting foul. If it's ruled a flagrant, then it would be 2 free throws and possession. Let's bring in our rules analyst, Steve Jabby. Steve.
Close, because it's unnecessary contact. There's no doubt about it. But I look at the severity of contact. Was there a lot of contact that's happening there? This is going to be a difficult one. I would just call it a normal foul myself. It looks weird because he pulls the jersey at the end, but I just go.
Frere.
I think for me, Steve might very well be right. I think this is very close, but I think, this
It's
wind up and grab.
Yeah, unnecessary physical contact is what is necessary for a flagrant foul penalty 1. You saw the swipe. Here's Mark Davis.
Upon review, it has been determined that none of the elements of a flagrant foul exist. Therefore, this will be ruled a common foul after the gather. 2 free throws.
So Steve Jabby, correct. Just 2 free throws, common foul.
Yeah, and obviously the crowd's upset. It's a home crowd. You want to get that call. You need every extra possession you can get if you're Golden State. So they just determined, I think Steve's main point was that there really just wasn't enough overall contact that took place that could have potentially, caused some damage to Buddy Hield. So they went with the common foul.
Warriors are 5 of 8 at the free throw line so far in this game. Hield is 1 of 2. Hield has 2 made threes so far in this game, and now 33 in the playoffs.
He has really turned it on since about the middle of that Houston series when he was struggling to find space against an elite defense. The Rockets face guarded him. He broke loose late in that series. Of course, the huge Game 7. First couple in this one also very good.
WNBA tip-off 25. Saturday, Caitlin Clark on display in an ABC doubleheader with several really good games. You got the Fever in the Sky, 12:30 Eastern. NBA countdown starts us off, and then defending champion New York Liberty taking on Las Vegas. 49-46 after the free throws from Hield. 4:17 to go in the first half. Largest lead for Minnesota has been 8. Warriors led by 5. No Warrior starter in double figures. 10 for Kuminga to lead Golden State.
And they stay in this zone. It's been successful in the last 2 possessions. Really, Minnesota not getting anything going downhill, which is the whole goal.
Conley with 3 to shoot. Hield strips it away, but a foul. First on Hield. Warriors are over the limit. Free throws for Conley.
And you see Golden State in this zone, and Julius Randle wasn't able to receive it in the middle, which is where you want to get it, so steps out on the floor. And Golden State doing a nice job communicating in this zone as Mike Conley, again, he feels Buddy Hield's hand in there, so he tries to get into the shooting motion.
They're trying to determine, is that a 2-pointer or a 3-point attempt, and it's going to be 3 free throws. That foul occurred behind the arc. First free throws of the game from Mike Conley. 18th NBA season, 37 years old. It's his 102nd career playoff game. Wolves are 6 of 7 at the line as a team so far. Conley gets the second one as well.
Critical 4 minutes for Golden State right here to close this half out and stay in touch with Minnesota, who can go on these scoring bursts, particularly Anthony Edwards, and make sure you stay in contact with him. 6-point games, manageable for Golden State, assuming you keep scoring, but the big 4 minutes here heading into the locker room.
Especially with Jimmy Butler out. Steve Kerr wants him to be fresh in the 4th quarter. He's played 18 minutes. This is his second stint on the bench. Hield misses inside. Edwards with the rebound and quick run up the court. 6-point lead for the Wolves. Edwards through traffic to the corner. DiVincenzo. Now Conley up top. No good on the 3. And you get 4 guys underneath trying to block out Gobert. Here comes Draymond Green. Stops at the free throw line. Missed it. The tip no good. Looney is there though and puts it back in. Gobert, like a point guard, finding Conley. 3 is short. Gobert bats it out. Hield takes it away, though, from Edwards and gets the layup on the other end.
Defense creating their offense right now. Golden State stringing some stops together and then able to get out and get some early offense.
Hield now with 11, the leading scorer so far for the Warriors.
Zone has been effective. The only points they've gotten were the Conley free throws when he was fouled on the 3-pointer.
Shot clock at 2. Randle with 1, gets it away in time, missed it. Looney rebounds. Outlet Kuminga. Warriors can tie or take the lead. Kuminga fouled by Conley. Great attack by Jonathan Kuminga. A chance to tie it up at the foul line. There's a confidence and a comfort level that's back with Jonathan Kuminga, which we didn't see earlier.
Really happy with the results of this zone defense that he threw in here over the last several minutes. Minnesota's offense has really bogged down, and Golden State, as a result, has been able to take it off the glass and get out the Hield with smaller defender.
Tim, they're +8 on the glass against a much bigger team in Minnesota. Gobert is going to go to the bench here. Reed checking in. The Warriors making the most of the non-Jimmy Butler minutes, the 2 times he's been on the bench as Kuminga gets both free throws. He's up to 12 and the game is tied. Warriors trying to even the series. Game 5 Wednesday. If there's a game 6, it would be here. Sunday, turnover by Minnesota. Green gets it over the timeline. Pajemski in stride. Missed the bank, but fouled by Reed, and he'll go to the line. 2 on Reed and 3 on the Wolves.
The Golden State went back to man to give him a different look. out of that timeout, and they get the turnover, and again, playing in the open floor. Brandon Pajemski knew he had the angle on Naz Reid closing out and could get contact.
It's going to be really hard for the Warriors, obviously, to win this series if Steph Curry doesn't come back. But are you getting a sense they're starting to figure out how to play a little bit without him?
Their motion is much better tonight than it was on Saturday. You know, it's such a massive adjustment because you're asking players that typically don't have to beat people off the dribble to do exactly that, because Steph Curry is such a magnet for multiple defenders. There's a lot more space for the role players. Hasn't been the case here over the last few games.
8 straight points for Golden State. Minnesota without a field goal in the last 3 minutes. Edwards stops at the free throw line. Line drive shot in and out. Ends up in the hands of Conley for a second chance opportunity. Randall with a jab step. Backs up. Tries a three. No good. Rebound Looney. Randall started 3 for 3 from behind the arc. He's missed his last 2. Kuminga gets past this man and then fouled by Reid. That's 3 fouls on Naz Reid. Jonathan Kuminga has this crowd here at Chase Center on its feet.
And I'll tell you what, it's a good thing Naz Reid was able to get a hold of Jonathan Kuminga here at the end of this, because I think Jonathan Kuminga had some bad intentions on his mind, and he can really sky when he comes to a 2-footed jump, which he was about to do. Naz Reid gives up the foul to force him to earn it.
"13 points now, Kuminga, 5 of 5 at the line. Halftime presented by Hyundai coming up. Malik Andrews, Brian Windhorst, they will give us the update from Joe Mazzulla on the injury to Jason Tatum, and that Celtics loss tonight to go down 3-1 to the New York Knicks. Another incredible outing for Jalen Brunson. They'll have highlights and much more coming up. The resurgent Jonathan Kuminga with a team high 14 points. The Warriors lead it by 4. No field goals for Minnesota since 4:59 on the clock, and 10 straight Warrior points. Alexander Walker skips to Edwards, and Edwards gets some time and swishes home a 3-pointer.
And it's tough when you've got that shell behind you defensively. You know, you don't want to get on an island with Anthony Edwards to let him get that shot off.
Kuminga, good defense, Alexander Walker. Looney, foul. Boy, Looney doing a terrific job on the glass. He's got 8 rebounds in 10 minutes off the bench. Foul on Edwards is his first. Both teams over the limit for the final 50 seconds.
Kevon Looney giving him great minutes and activity. And Steve Kerr knew he needed to play a little bit bigger against this team. That's why Trace Jackson Davis was inserted into the rotation. Kevon Looney picking up minutes as well, which he did at the tail end of the Houston series. Also, he's just so reliable. He's always going to be in the right place at the right time. He's going to give you offensive rebounding, and he's a good communicator defensively for that back line.
There were several unsung heroes on those 4 championship teams for the Warriors. Kevon Looney certainly one of them. Great leader. As he hits the free throw, given 5 points so far in the game. So Jimmy Butler has been on the bench since 4:17. And the Warriors have gone from trailing to leading, which means Butler will be fresher for the second half. The lead is 3 now for Golden State, 50.1 on the clock. Randall has gone cold. He's been stuck on 19 points now for about 7 minutes.
Golden State in the zone, but see how extended it is now to make sure Anthony Edwards does not get off one of those step-back threes.
Great move by McDaniels. Missed the shot, and Kuminga's got it now. They don't have clocks. And so Golden State will slow it down. Spins past Edwards. Kuminga hangs. Had it blocked, but a foul on McDaniels. Back to the line goes Kuminga, where he's 6 of 6.
Well, without Jimmy Butler, you knew this ball was going to find its way back up top to Kuminga. They went with the guard screen, trying to get that switch, give him an opportunity to use his size. That's a beautiful spin. It's a pretty good play on the ball by McDaniels, but he does get that hand right there across Kuminga's wrist as he's ready to release it.
2 players have 3 fouls now for Minnesota. Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels. And the Warriors have now taken 10 more free throws than Minnesota. 10 of those attempts have come in the last 5 times down the floor. They missed their first 3, and they've made 9 in a row. They were 3 of 6 at one point. So they've made 13 straight. 11 of 11 this quarter.
And we were wondering if Jonathan Kuminga was going to be able to follow up that 30-point performance, you know, do something similar to give Golden State a chance. He's halfway there.
Trying to remember the last time we've seen a player who was benched at the end of the regular season and for the start of the playoffs have this kind of an impact in playoff games just weeks later.
You give him a lot of credit, because I think one of the reasons he's had a harder time cementing himself in the rotation and earning consistent minutes is because I think there are times, you know, they don't know if he's paying enough attention to the detail. He stayed with it mentally, and he was ready for the moment.
5 seconds to go. Kuminga 16 points, 8 of 8 at the line. 2 seconds left. Edwards, long 3, and Anthony Edwards beats the buzzer with a triple. He had 2 defenders on him from about 30 feet away and still put it in the bottom of the net. Let's make sure he got it away in time. Yep, definitely left his hand. Still 7/10 of a second left. And it gets Minnesota within 2 at halftime.
Conference semifinals on ESPN are delivered by Chipotle. Real ingredients, real flavor. Chipotle, for real.
Superman is taking the day off.
Who you think should sub in for Superman?
Who's got it like Superman?
Who could possibly match Superman's speed, strength, and ability to fly?
I want to talk about fly. How about Jason Tatum?
You guys see Tatum in Clark Kent mode?
Tatum is Clark Kent, humble, Midwestern, looks great in glasses. But can he step up and be Superman?
Welcome back to the NBA playoffs presented by Google. The conference semifinals delivered by Chipotle. Pre-game Anthony Edwards, as he normally does, taking 40-footers. Nobody in the stands, but putting his teammates to sleep, I guess. And then here from about 30 feet at the buzzer, he had 14 points, 8 in the final 5 minutes, 2 threes in the last minute. Both head coaches are mic'd up tonight.
Hey, the whole key is the tempo. You guys are pushing the ball beautifully. That's putting their defense on their heels, right? So keep pushing it. Keep running to the corner. Come on now, let's go. We're a little sloppy down there. That's a hell of a quarter, right? Keep going, keep pushing it. All right, let's string together 3 stops in a row. We got to get more aggressive. Let's go. Whoever gets it every time out of bounds or loose ball, whatever it is, keep pushing it, keep getting to the corners, all right?
As the Warriors try to even this series in 2 games apiece, we look at our first half stats brought to you by Service Now. Plus 10 on the glass and plus 8 in second chance points for the Warriors. Kevon Looney had 8 rebounds. Rudy Gobert only had 3. Minnesota stayed in the game because it made 5 more threes than Golden State. Dave Pasch, Tim Legler, and Katie George with you. Well, Steve Kerr wanted Jimmy Butler to get a little more rest tonight. He did. He played 17 minutes, and he also wanted others to step up. And they got that. Butler had 7 points, but had a ton of help in that first half.
Well, the script has gone pretty well for Golden State. They had a 2-point lead at halftime in game 3, but a much different type of game. That was 42-40. Both offenses are showing up in this one, so the support has been there for Jimmy Butler, getting another great performance out of Jonathan Kuminga, but the role players stepping up as well. And to your point, Dave, Jimmy Butler really wasn't taxed in that first half. I think he ran out of gas in game 3 trying to close. He should have a lot more as this game winds down tonight, assuming it's still close.
If he plays the entire second half, he would play fewer minutes still than he played on Saturday in game 3. Jonathan Kuminga with 16 points, Buddy Hield with 11. Julius Randle, 19 points for Minnesota, but didn't score the final 7+ minutes of that second quarter. Edwards with 14. Minnesota trying to take a 3-1 series lead, a chance to close it out on Wednesday night at home in game 5. The Warriors win, it guarantees a game here on Sunday, a game 6. And the reason it's not every other day in the series is to honor the Valkyrie, the new Golden State WNBA team. It's home opener, so that pushed game 6 back, what could benefit now the Warriors. Steph Curry could return for that game 6 on Sunday.
You think what's at stake over the next 24 minutes, really for Golden State more so. You go home to Minnesota, go back to Minnesota with a chance to get closed out if you lose this game. Instead, you extend it and might get Curry back.
Podziemski, 24-second violation to start the half. Podziemski now 2 of 7, 0 for 2 from 3. Golden State by 2. Warriors sticking with that zone. Edwards with a timer at 10. And no good. Rebounded by Draymond Green.
Those are the shots that Steve Kerr wants to force with this defense. 3-pointers from Conley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker when he's in the game, and DiVincenzo as well. They'll live with
Jack. Anthony Edwards commits his second personal foul.
Nice cut by Podziemski. Good find under there. Big pocket under the rim right there. Podziemski recognized that, and he's going to start the second half here with a couple of freebies.
You look at the first half of the starting backcourt of game 3. Podziemski and Hield combined for 2 points. They had 17 points combined tonight in the first half. Warriors have now made 16 straight free throws. They're 18 of 21 now, 19 of 22. They've taken 13 more foul shots than the Wolves.
One name we haven't really mentioned much tonight at all is Rudy Gobert, who had a big factor in game 3 with his rebounding, his rim protection. He has not really gotten involved in this game at all. The zone has bottled him up a little bit, but Warriors doing a nice job keeping him off the glass.
Randle for 3. It's good. Julius Randle with his 4th 3. He's got 22. Draymond Green, very productive first half. Beautiful shot by Green on the reverse layup. Up to 10 points and 6 rebounds now to go with 2 assists. Green fouled out in crunch time. Part of the reason why the Warriors lost game 3. The defense just wasn't as good when he went out of the game. Edwards on the drive. Kicks it out to Conley. Shot clock down to 3. Conley missed the teardrop. Kept alive, though, by Gobert and Conley. Edwards got the 3.
Well, he loves going left for that shot. When you go for that up fake on the first attempt, he's almost always going to go left, get into that rhythm dribble, and he is just lethal.
First points of the second half. He's got 66 points in the second half in this series in 3+ games. Podziemski in the lane, missed the shot. The putback though by Trayce Jackson-Davis.
Any type of penetration could create offensive rebounding opportunities because you're going to get movement out of Gobert, and he's going to reoccupy against the penetration, and that time Trayce Jackson-Davis was right there behind to get the putback.
They have 7 more offensive rebounds than Minnesota in this game. The Wolves a much bigger team. Edwards on the step back as Draymond Green falls into his bench. Gobert with the offensive rebound. Late whistle, but a foul on the stick back try. Gobert hasn't scored. This will be his first trip to the foul line. Jackson-Davis commits his second foul.
This is the tough decision when you close out on Anthony Edwards. You know, if you close out on that left side. He might just go straight downhill with his right hand and finish that way. If you close out the other way, he's going to almost always go into that step back rhythm three.
We asked Chris Finch before the game, why is it so far in the series that Edwards is more assertive offensively in the second half? He said Edwards told him he's really enjoying kind of feeling out the game early, but that he might be overthinking it a little too much. He was much more assertive tonight in the first half.
No doubt about it. And I thought the couple of easy layups he got in the beginning of the third quarter, or middle of the third quarter on Saturday, turned around his half. He got much more aggressive having seen the ball go through the basket, but he's come out from Jump Street tonight looking for his own offense.
Gobert ties the game with 2 free throws. And again, Draymond Green running the point, getting it into the forecourt quickly. Pajemski into the lane, try to draw the foul on Randall. Bounces to Butler, 3 for 5 from the floor, 7 points for Butler. Draymond Green way off on the 3. Did make 2 in the first half. Minnesota looking to retake the lead. Great move by Edwards, knifing through the lane, goes to the left hand. Just an absolutely gorgeous shot by Anthony Edwards, and a timeout on the floor.
Anthony Edwards off to a great start here in the third quarter. Look at the footwork, the extension, and the soft finish.
ESPN Bet Sportsbook has you covered all playoffs long. Keep up with big-time matchups, get daily profit boosts, and tail exclusive picks from Stephen A. Smith. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Sign up with promo code HOOPS.
From Denver, Game 6 between the Thunder and Nuggets. Game 5 tomorrow with that series 2-2. Can Cleveland knock off Indiana on its home floor tomorrow to force a Game 6 Thursday at Indiana?
And with Golden State's played quite a bit of zone here, starting with the early second quarter, and this is why you want to funnel the ball in certain places. That time they got on Anthony Edwards' left side to keep it out of the hands of Julius Randle. They'll live with Mike Conley taking contested threes.
To your point, Randle and Edwards are 8 of 14 from 3 as Green misses, and the rest of the team is just 4 for 13. Edwards has 5 of Minnesota's last 6 baskets, including a 30-footer at the buzzer to end the first half. Drives on the wing to Randle. Jab and fire. Randle's 3 no good. Since the midway point of the second quarter. But he scores there. 9 points and ties the game.
And I like the fact that he advanced the ball off the dribble, got a brush screen near half court to give him some freedom to attack. Rudy Gobert was not willing to come out and challenge that. It's an easy 15-footer for Butler.
Edwards step through, foul, and puts it in with the left hand. Anthony Edwards, who led the NBA in threes this year, is equally deadly, maybe even more so on the drive.
Well, this is the part of his game that has improved dramatically. Number one, just the creativity with the handle in tight spaces, but then he's so patient. For a guy this athletic that gets downhill with such acceleration, the way he stops and slows everything down to let you drop back to the ground before he releases the ball. It's really special.
I mean, most guys would not have been able to get that shot off before their feet hit the floor, and it's still just a shooting foul. 2 free throws rather than an and one, as an offensive foul is called here on the screen on the Warriors. It's on Buddy Hield. Boy.
I mean, he got his knee into his quad a little bit, but Julius Randle, I think, sold that pretty well. There was some contact in the lower body.
I mean, it was a late sell as well. Empty possession, though, for Minnesota. 3-point Wolves lead. Butler driving. Goes underneath Gobert, and Gobert stood his ground, didn't foul him. Numbers for the Wolves. Randle takes to the corner. Conley. And Mike Conley's 3 pushes the lead to 6.
That's a big turn right there. I think Jimmy Butler took the ball too deep. He had the same shot he just hit. A little pull-up 12-footer, decided to challenge Gobert.
Great defense by Gobert, blocking Kuminga. Offensive rebound, Butler. And now a foul inside is called on Butler. Second personal on Jimmy Butler. So 2 offensive fouls here in the last 30 seconds by the Warriors.
Yeah, the shot he turned down led to a 3 by Mike Conley, but there you see the hook around Anthony Edwards' leg as he's trying to get some space in the paint.
Minnesota now 13 of 26 from three. They've made 8 more threes than the Warriors. That's the difference in the game. Randall throws it into the bench. Nice defense by Draymond Green.
You see the difference on Julius Randle. If you can wall up that left shoulder so he cannot take the ball down that side of the lane, when he's forced to go to his right to shoot those back lean backs, he's not very comfortable. That time throws the ball into the first row.
Green likely will be named NBA All-Defense for the 9th time in his career. In his 3rd Defensive Player of the Year honors. Shot clock down to 4. Minnesota on a 10-2 run. Kuminga, again, excellent defense from Rudy Gobert, the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Edwards tries another 3. Edwards switches that one home, rips the net on a triple. He's got 25. That's his 5th 3.
You can feel he's sensing right now the moment for Minnesota and what it would mean to get out of here with a win. He's starting to take over this game. Golden State's not staying connected enough on the perimeter.
He's got 11 in the quarter. He's owned the second half in this series. Butler gets deep. Spinning, missing. Rebound McDaniels. Ball in the hands of Edwards again. Edwards for 3. Of course! Anthony Edwards can't miss. He's got 14 in the quarter, and he just pushed the lead to 12 for Minnesota, trying to go up 3-1 in the series.
Anthony Edwards on fire right now for the Timberwolves. Taking over this game from deep. Trying to get the separation and bring this thing back to Minnesota, up 3-1 if they can hold on.
This month, coaches across the league wore custom autism-themed Nike shoes to celebrate NBA's Autism Acceptance Month. The game-worn shoes were autographed and are being auctioned by Sotheby's from May 13th through May 20th. 100% of the proceeds will benefit the To The Max Foundation to support families affected by autism spectrum disorder. Get your shoes and other NBA player-worn and autographed memorabilia at Sotheby's.com/ToTheMaxFoundation. Meanwhile, Anthony Edwards in the first 23 minutes of the game had 8 points. The last 7.5 minutes, he's got 20. It's a 12-0 Minnesota run. And thanks to Edwards, they've opened up a 12-point lead. He has more threes, 6, than the Warriors have as a team, 5.
And the Warriors' offense is really hurting them as much as anything right now. They just have 8 points through the first 7 minutes of this quarter.
Kuminga missed the 3. And at what point does Jimmy Butler say, I have to take over? I have to be the one to look to score?
Now, if you're asking my opinion on it, they've got to treat this like almost like a game 7 to try to get this back, even extend it's an appearance at this point.
Edwards bricked that one. Shot clock violation. It did not hit the rim. 14 points in the quarter. 28 points for the game.
The trigger when he goes into penetration mode, he comes to these jump stops and passes out. Right now is not the time for him to be passive at all. They need points on the board. He's the guy most capable of doing it because he can win matchups, even if Minnesota loads up to his side.
Just 8 shot attempts for Butler, and he's only been to the line twice, and that was basically at the beginning of the game. That's a problem if he's not getting to the free throw line. Kuminga in the corner, 16 first half points for him, hasn't scored yet here in the 3rd. But really nobody has for the Warriors. Shot clock down to 4. Great defense. Edwards pokes it away. Randall and Edwards have combined for 50 points. DiVincenzo got another 3, the 16th of the game for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Again, the turnovers leading to offense for Minnesota. Kuminga too loose with that handle. Anthony Edwards pokes it away.
Another offensive foul. Meanwhile, on the Warriors, it's on Payton. They're falling apart on the offensive end right now.
Yeah, that's really been their biggest enemy. I mean, they're having a hard time guarding the three-point line down here. But if Minnesota's taking the ball out of the net, it's much easier to match up and get your communications down. I think Anthony Edwards' hot hand now permeating the rest of the roster. DiVincenzo feeling one.
Look at the score here this quarter. It's a 15-0 run by Minnesota. The game was tied at the 8-minute mark. Now it's Reed for three. In and out. But Gobert with the rebound. And gets tangled up by Draymond Green. A foul on Green. That's his second. Third team foul.
Yeah, Rudy Gobert just immediately, when Draymond Green went into front position, when that shot goes in the air, very difficult with that size advantage Gobert has to get him rooted out of there. And Gobert gets an opportunity with an offensive rebound.
Here's Edwards. Stops at the free throw line and scores again. 30 points for Anthony Edwards. 17 straight for Minnesota. And without Steph Curry, do the Warriors have enough firepower to come back? A foul here on Edwards. Was the second team foul, third personal.
Dante DiVincenzo, I think, got away with a double dribble right there, but able to shovel the ball to Edwards. And you can see right now, Golden State is completely back on their heels on both ends of the floor, but they desperately need something to stop the bleeding.
They don't get it, though. Hield missed the three. Edwards is outscoring the Warriors 18-6, or 16-8 here in the quarter. But a turnover by Edwards. Interception from Podziemski. Kuminga downhill, gets the layup. And that stops the bleeding for now, ending a 17-0 run. 3-minute mark, 15-point lead for the Wolves. Trying to go up 3-1 in the series before they go home for Game 5 Wednesday. Lob to Gobert from Alexander Walker.
Well, Golden State had gotten away from the zone. They went back to it right there, but you cannot allow that level of dribble penetration against the zone. There's no backside protection.
Butler finally finds his way back to the free throw line. Got the layup, +1.
Yeah, I mean, Golden State goes zone. You've got to contain dribble penetration in zone. This is just far too easy. You put Draymond Green in a really tough spot. But Jimmy Butler answers the other way with one of the few early pushes Golden State has had in this half after doing a lot of that in the first half.
So Anthony Edwards gets his fourth foul. If you're Chris Finch, you leave him in, take him out. He wants to stay in, but he's going to take a seat with 2:43 to go in the third.
Yeah, I don't think you can risk that right here. The way he's played, about due for a blow anyway. He's got a hot hand with a 15-point lead. You figure you can close out the quarter well over the last 2:40 and not risk something where Anthony Edwards potentially misses half of a quarter because of foul trouble.
He missed half of the second quarter of Game 2 due to an ankle injury, but was not on the injury report for Game 3. Obviously played great at 36 and not on the injury report here today for Game 4, so that ankle's okay. Alexander Walker drives. They swing it around to DiVincenzo. Fires underneath. And getting the basket is Alexander Walker.
Well, that's a beautiful thing right now for Minnesota. The way they're moving the basketball, it's just free. Every right read is being made. The spacing is great. And Golden State just does not have an answer how to slow them down.
Podziemski will try it. Short on the three. Warriors just 5 for 19 from three-point range. Timeout, Minnesota.
All right, hang tough, fellas. Hang tough. Entire game, but we got to handle our business. We got to make them miss. We got to rebound everything. All right.
Well, the best defense tonight against Anthony Edwards is to have him on the bench, and that's where he is right now because of foul trouble. And Steve Kerr's offense find something. They've been outscored 31-13 here in the third quarter. Jimmy Butler has just not looked himself here tonight. Not as aggressive as we saw the other night. Game 3, 12 points. His team down 16. Nice pass. Randall with the stuff. DiVincenzo with the find.
I mean, this is just a clinic right now Minnesota's putting on with their half-court offense. Kuminga hangs and got that one to fall.
Jonathan Kuminga, the leading scorer for the Warriors tonight with 20. Alexander Walker turning the corner and laying it in off the window. He's had a nice game off the bench, 4 for 4.
There's no resistance right now for Golden State. Minnesota just too easy off the ball, go wherever they want with it. It's not just the three-point shooting. They're getting anything they want at the rim, and now here they are turning up the defense to get some transition.
McDaniels finishes at the rim, and the Minnesota Timberwolves have pushed the lead to 20 with a minute to go in the third. And a foul called on DiVincenzo about 45 feet away from the basket. 14 foul. There'll be a side out of bounds. It's the first in the last 2 minutes. Second personal on DiVincenzo.
You think about all the energy Golden State expended on Saturday to stay in that game, a one-possession game with 4 minutes to go. Didn't walk out of here with a win, and I think it's taken a toll on them in this one. Can't keep coming back from 8 and 10-point deficits all night, and eventually Minnesota's going to push it out, which they have here to close the quarter.
Minnesota 53% shooting, 16 of 31 from 3. Offensive foul on Julius Randle. That's just his second personal.
There you go, Pods.
Golden State they got a 2-for-1 opportunity here. If they can get it down to 15 going into the fourth quarter, we'll see. Kuminga going one-on-one, spinning on Randle. Randle blocks it. Great defensive play. Out of bounds, off the Warriors.
Well, I like what Kuminga did there. You had to go 2-for-1. You need as many possessions as you can have. He's just trying to be aggressive, get to the rim, and Julius Randle stayed with that until the very last second to get his hand on that basketball.
About an 8-second difference between the game and shot clocks here at the end of the third quarter. Randle on the cut, and Randle banks it home. He's got 26. He and Edwards have combined for 56 of the 97 points for the Wolves. Buddy Hield driving and throws it away with 8.7 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Well, that's just a situation where Buddy Hield had turned the corner. You've got to get that up on the glass. You have an advantage. You have a half step on the defender. You don't have Rudy Gobert on the floor coming from the weak side. He's trying to make a play for a three, but sometimes take the easy one that's there. I think Buddy Hield could have got that all the way to the rim for a layup.
Minnesota matching its largest lead of the game. At 20 points, Draymond Green will check in for defense. 8.7 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Wolves trying to go up 3-1 in the series. Warriors had a foul to give, so they take it there. Third on Green, 6.2 seconds left. The Wolves trailed by 2 at halftime. They've scored 39 points here in the third quarter to 17 for Golden State. 4 seconds left. Alexander Walker with 3. Finds Randle, gets the shot away. It's no good. But Minnesota 1 quarter away from taking a commanding 3-1 lead with Game 5 back in the Twin Cities. Anthony Edwards has been a star throughout this series against the Warriors. Semifinals delivered by Chipotle. Minnesota dominates the third quarter, outscoring Golden State 39-17 on 65% shooting. They made 6 threes in that third quarter. Anthony Edwards 16 points. He has 30 for the game. And as we start the fourth quarter, and Minnesota looking to go up 3-1 in the series, they have a 20-point lead and a foul on the Warriors 10 seconds in.
And you'll see Minnesota now really extend defensively to take away, any three-point shooting, because that's the best way to erase a deficit. And just important to take care of the basketball right now with the 20-point lead here with a quarter to play.
And Jimmy Butler starting the fourth quarter on the bench. Defensive foul. As that's the third on Dante DiVincenzo. Here's Katie George.
Yeah, Dave, Steph Curry just told his teammates during the last break, we need to have the same energy and body language as we do run here. We can do this.
Well, they were from deep. They go inside here, and Kuminga misses the layup. Golden State just 5 for 19 for the game from behind the arc. Minnesota's made 11 more threes than the Warriors. Ball out of bounds off Reed. Good D by Draymond Green. Buddy Hield spinning on DiVincenzo and getting the layup.
And again, it doesn't have to be all threes right now for Golden State. No Gobert on the floor. There are opportunities. If you keep your dribble, you can get all the way to the rim.
Speaking of getting all the way to the rim, and we've seen that a bunch here, the Warriors defense just hasn't been as good as it needed to be.
No, they have not stopped the ball at the point of attack up the floor. Got to contain penetration first. Force that ball to be kicked out.
Kuminga, another missed layup, but a foul, and he'll shoot 2. He is 8 of 8 at the line. Anthony Edwards checking back into the game. 16 third quarter points. Again, feeling things out early on. Again here in game 4. Finding more of a rhythm, though, tonight in the first half. And a great momentum builder by hitting that 30-footer to beat the first half buzzer. They were down 5 before that shot. They haven't looked back since.
He's just one of those scorers that you never really have fully under control or contained, because he's just so explosive. The combination of his ability to attack the rim, draw fouls, but then that lethal three-point shooting, which really he's added this year, over 10 three-point attempts per game in the regular season.
That missed free throw ends a stretch of 19 consecutive makes. They had a second chance opportunity, but Podziemski continues to struggle from 3. 0 for 4 tonight, 4 for his last 24. 0 for 7 are the Warriors this half. They didn't make a half in the first half of game 3. First time in a playoff game since 07. A miss by Conley. Excellent look by Anthony Edwards. Podziemski fouled by Edwards, and that is 5 on Anthony Edwards. That might be the only chance the Warriors have right now, is to get him on the bench. And you would imagine that's where he's headed with 10-12 to go.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what he's complaining about. Podziemski wisely caught that ball and took it directly into the lane, and he timed it up so that Anthony Edwards had nowhere to go but right through his back.
So Podziemski 4 of 4 at the line. Gets the bounce on that one. Let's take a look at the upcoming playoff schedule. TNT Tuesday, Cleveland hosting Indiana. The Pacers looking to close out the #1 seed Cavs on the road. Then Denver at Oklahoma City, 9:30. That series tied at 2. Go to NBA.com or visit the NBA app. Nice bounce back win for Oklahoma City. Podziemski misses a free throw. 18-point lead for Minnesota. And a foul in the backcourt on Kuminga. That's only the first on him. Second team foul.
And you look at Podziemski and his struggles, and he does so many things to help you win. He's a winning player. He rebounds, he defends, he's smart, he takes charges. But they needed his shooting in these 2 games, and he's a combined 3 for 20 in games 3 and 4.
Minnesota kicking it around the park a little bit, but so are the Warriors. A turnover by Hield. Alexander Walker around the screen. Reed's pass intercepted by Hield. And Hield blew the layup. Podziemski is there, though, with the stick back, and Chris Finch has had enough. He did not like the vibe right now of his team. 16-point game.
The NBA Conference semifinals on ESPN are delivered by Chipotle. Real ingredients, real flavor. Chipotle, for real.
4 years of Minnesota's existence, they won 2 playoff series. Anthony Edwards has changed the direction by taking down some of the game's best players in postseason series. Last year, you had Jokic, Kevin Durant. In the first round, they beat the Lakers in 5, and now trying to take down the Warriors. Obviously, Steph Curry has not played for most of the series. Minnesota trying to go 3-1 and make the conference finals for the 2nd straight year, something that's never happened to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Checking with Katie.
Yeah, Dave. Well, Finch says Anthony Edwards' consistency throughout the playoffs this season has been his biggest area of growth this year. Finch says Ant's an excitable guy, so in years past, there were a lot of ups and downs, kind of living and dying with everything that happened in a playoff series. He said now you can sense a calmer, more even approach because he knows what to expect. Finch says Ant still has to bring us the energy he always does, but he's more tempered this postseason, and you can tell in his play and production.
Yeah, last year had such an impact on him and this whole team to, again, make the trade they did after getting somewhere they hadn't been in 20 years. It certainly was a risk. It's really worked out well for both the Knicks and the Wolves, but Edwards is still the centerpiece of this franchise and will be for many years to come. At least the Wolves hope that.
Yeah, but this pairing now looks like it's pretty seamless. They are understanding how to play together at different times when Julius Randle can be the alpha, when they can play through him when he's got a size advantage. But Anthony Edwards in this league that has, and his leadership has grown. And Chris Finch just raves about the number of ways in which, you know, he's added to his game, but also his personality type. He's a fighter.
Golden State not out of it, though. Free throws by Kuminga get it to 16. 9-minute mark here in the fourth quarter. Gobert underneath, fouled by Draymond Green. And Gobert will go to the line. 4 points, 5 rebounds. Third foul on Green. Check that fourth foul on Draymond Green.
Well, Golden State trying to go with a little bit of full court pressure there. They're trying to pick the tempo up in the pace to create more possessions. Rudy Gobert catches that ball. It's a smart foul by Draymond Green, but Rudy Gobert in a nice rhythm right now from the line. He was 46% going into game 3, and he went 5 for 6, and he's 3 for 3 tonight.
And if Minnesota were to hang on and possibly close it out, we'll know on Wednesday if Steph Curry's able to play. He's going to be reevaluated that day. But if Minnesota can close that out, there's a chance that Denver-Oklahoma City series goes 7, and then Minnesota gets a chance to get a little rest. First things first, they got to close this out. Gobert gets it done at the free throw line. By the way, the Warriors have not had a made three-pointer since the 4:49 mark of the second quarter. They've missed 7 straight. They get a 2-pointer from Draymond Green. 12 points for Green.
Can't trade baskets at this point. Golden State has to get stopped, but Minnesota is just getting the ball into the gut of the lane immediately up the floor with some of the gambles that Golden State is taking right now on the perimeter.
A lot of easy baskets for Minnesota in the second half. Not so much in the first. Heel doubled to Draymond Green. Sets his feet. Front rim to 3. McDaniels with the rebound. Minnesota on offense shooting almost 70% from the floor this half. Kuminga going for the steal. Couldn't get it away from Randle. Randle triple-double in game 3. 26 points here in game 4. Gobert hits the deck. Shot clock down to 3. Randle doubled. Cross-court pass. DiVincenzo after it was tipped by Butler, and that's a 24-second shot clock violation.
Well, Minnesota not in a hurry on that possession. They were running that clock down. End up, though, with a force at the end. And Golden State with a stop.
The time is now for the Warriors with 7.5 to go. Kind of feels like the last opportunity for a big run here. Entry pass to Butler, catching deep in traffic. Didn't even look at the rim, just kicked it out. Shot clock at 5. Podziemski spinning, missing, and defensive rebound Conley.
And you can see with Jimmy Butler really just not aggressive, looking for his shot in the lane, how difficult a position it puts in some of these role players trying to make plays off the dribble against an elite defense.
Conley again to the basket. Well defended by Kuminga. Out to McDaniels. 2 to shoot. And McDaniels missed it. Rebound Green. Hield tracks it down in midcourt. Podziemski underneath. Great play, McDaniels. They're going to count the basket. Ten points, 11 rebounds for McDaniels.
It's like a clean block. I thought he got that before it got to the glass. Yeah, he took that into the glass. That's a clean block.
Chris Finch challenged it. We'll see if it's overturned when we come back.
Minnesota's called a timeout.
Successful challenge by Chris Finch, so he'll be able to keep his challenge for later. Clean block by McDaniels before it hit the backboard. And so it is 105-87 and 47-27 this half.
Pretty nice luxury to have your small forward make a defensive play like that, but this is what we were talking about. The Warriors defensively here, once their offense really just collapsed, their defense followed suit. This is just one possession after another where Minnesota is just putting their head down, turning the corner, getting into the lane, and getting really anything they want at the rim.
The experience of making it to the conference finals has paid off in so many ways here this postseason, especially with the way the Wolves play on the road. If they win this game, they're 10-3 on the road the last two postseasons. Would be 4-1 this postseason if they close this out. 6.5 to go. Leading by 20.
And their stars leading the way. Julius Randle again with a floater. 58 now between Edwards and Randle.
Good block by Gobert. Edwards still on the bench with 5 fouls. Now a foul called on Moses Moody. First minutes for Moody here tonight. He doesn't have a made field goal in this series. And a chance for Anthony Edwards maybe to get some rest too. If this lead stays like this, Chris Finch may not put him back in the game. I think he could probably play 48 and be just fine. He's that good of an athlete. Randle at the line shooting 2. Sensational series for Julius Randle. Missed that free throw. We know for sure Oklahoma City will play Denver in Game 6. That series tied at 2 with Game 5 tomorrow in OKC. Can Cleveland force a Game 6? Right now it's 3-1 Indiana. If there is a Game 6, it would be in Indianapolis. Coverage starts with NBA Countdown 7 Eastern time.
And Julius Randle was missed free throw of the series. Was able to convert the second one. And after getting 60 combined in Game 3, they're back to 59 tonight.
And they just had their biggest lead of the game, but Draymond Green inside gets the basket. Jimmy Butler still stuck on 9 shot attempts, 12 points. Again, just doesn't look himself here. Certainly not the aggressive Butler we saw in Game 3 on Saturday, and they needed another 30-point game from Butler with no Curry.
Well, you think about the formula we laid out. Kuminga did it again. He's got 23 points. He certainly held his own tonight. We thought Green and Podziemski would contribute. They've got 25 points between them, but it's really been Jimmy Butler's drop-off that's hurt him the most.
Got an out-of-bounds call that Steve Kerr is going to challenge, but his team is down 108-89. Rolling on the floor is out of bounds off of Golden State. Butler swipes it away. It does hit DiVincenzo there. Butler steps out of bounds. It didn't appear to touch Jimmy Butler at that point.
This angle, a little better view. Can't tell, you just can't tell if it went off Jimmy Butler's hip or if it touched DiVincenzo's fingertip after that anyway.
It hit the leg and then the hand of DiVincenzo. By the way, Jimmy Butler, you go back to being scoreless in the final 8 minutes of Game 3. The last 41 minutes played, Jimmy Butler has just 12 points. 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He's only taken 1 3-point shot in this game. And just not a lot of margin for error because no Curry. Only 3 free throw attempts for Butler. And again, 2 of those came in the first minute of the game. And when they traded for Butler, that was one of the things.
By DiVincenzo as his left hand touched the ball prior to going out of bounds. Therefore, this is a successful challenge. The ball be awarded to Golden State. Please reset the shot clock to 24.
So just to finish up that thought, one of the reasons they got Butler was because they needed somebody to take the pressure off of Steph Curry by getting to the foul line, and that just has not happened tonight.
Their offense is just predicated on Steph Curry's movement and the threat that he represents all over the floor, and the way that he forces miscommunications. It leads to opportunities, and you think about what they've dealt with in this series. They had no made threes in the first half of Game 3. They've got no made threes in the second half tonight of Game 4.
Klay Thompson, part of a sign and trade with the Mavericks, so obviously no longer a member of the Warriors, and with an injured Steph Curry, just not a lot of weapons on the perimeter, and the guys that they count on to make threes, guys like Moses Moody, Pajemski, Buddy Hield, and other than Hield, they have not gotten that. Hield is 2 of 6. Draymond Green has 2 threes. So Draymond Green has 2 threes, and the rest of the team has a combined 3. Pajemski gets knocked down, and so a foul inside on McDaniels. That's 5 on him. So you get Edwards and McDaniels with 5 apiece. DiVincenzo has 4. Free throws for Butler.
Chris Finch not really happy with that, shaking his head because they just, committed 2 fouls, not forcing Golden State really to do anything offensively. And you put Jimmy Butler at the line for a couple of free throws. The clock stopped. That's a formula to start, a team to try to cut into this lead.
The Warriors haven't lost 3 straight games since mid-December. They've only lost 3 straight games in the playoffs, 1 time since Steve Kerr took over as head coach, and that was in the NBA Finals when they lost to the Cavaliers in 2016. In danger of a 3rd straight loss here. No basket, foul inside on the Warriors. And if the Wolves win and go up 3-1, only 13 times in NBA history has a team come back from a 3-1 deficit to win a series. Golden State has done it, though, in the conference finals in 2016 against the Thunder, which led eventually to Kevin Durant's arrival here in San Francisco.
And you think about the start to the series that Steph Curry had before he grabbed that hamstring. He had 13 points already in that game in a quarter and a half. And the defense, though obviously imposing, it's a different type of defense than what he faced in Houston and what they were able to pull off against him when it was just tough to get any daylight whatsoever. So I know he was relieved to find some space, have a great start, and then unfortunately grab that hamstring.
He'll get on the plane, though, with the team. They'll reevaluate him on game day, and we'll see if he plays Wednesday in Game 5. If not, they need, obviously, a win to get to a Game 6 back here Sunday. Empty possession, though, for the Warriors. The Wolves defense has really stepped up here in the second half. 19-point lead for Minnesota, 5-minute mark. Conley lobs for Randall, catches underneath the basket. And a foul call as Conley was trying to pass it outside. It's on Moody. They're over the limit, so free throws for Minnesota. 2 on Moody. So a chance perhaps if Minnesota hangs on to close it out on Wednesday at home. And then because the Valkyries WNBA home opener, Game 6, was pushed back to the 18th. The Warriors will, at this point, likely have to win a road game to get back here and possibly get Curry back. And here comes Anthony Edwards. He's on the bench for a handful of minutes after picking up that 5th foul. He's got 30 points, 11 of 20, 6 of 11 from 3.
They've gotten great contributions tonight as well from other guys. I think Conley's been a stabilizer for them, and McDaniels has chipped in with 10 points and 13 boards.
Green missed it with a left-hand rebound. Gobert. What's really interesting about Minnesota is Anthony Edwards is clearly the star. Julius Randle's been the role. Mike Conley knows his role. Jaden McDaniels, defend, rebound, make throughout the season. Obviously, Gobert knows his role. 38 seconds away from a 3-1 lead over the Warriors. Let's go, and David Lloyd is coming up next. Full breakdown of the game here in San Francisco. Highlights from our first game between the Knicks and Celtics. New York up 3-1 in that series. And, of course, the latest on the injury that Jason Tatum suffered in the 4th quarter tonight at Madison Square Garden. The Minnesota defense has held Golden State to 31 points this half. The Warriors had 32 points in the second quarter. They led at halftime by 2. Jimmy Butler might be on the bench for good as you look at Santos and Spencer, Moody, Kevin Knox in the game. So it looks like Steve Kerr is going to give his starters the rest of this game off, assuming the comeback attempt won't happen, and try to hopefully be at full strength on Wednesday. But that depends, of course, on the health of Steph. Conley's 3, no good. Rebound Moody.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, everybody's different with these injuries, but having some experience with it, that would really be hard-pressed to imagine Steph Curry back for Game 5. I think all along they were hoping to somehow get this to a Game 6 at minimum where he could reemerge.
Post for 3. Still a 16-point game, 4 minutes to go. We've seen comebacks throughout this season, regular season and postseason. First 3 of the half for the Warriors.
And
by the way.
Post hits it, and he was very good for them all season. But Steve Kerr feels like this series a little too fast, a little too physical for him. But when you're that desperate for shooting, you think maybe he could have found an opportunity to get a few minutes. He knocks down the first 3 he gets.
And Moody, no baskets in this series. That would have got it to 13 with 3 minutes to go. Chris Finch keeping his starters in the game, even though Golden State has emptied its bench. Edwards looking to take Knox off the dribble, and he coughs it up. Numbers for the Warriors if they hurry. Knox in transition with the slam. Down to 14 with 2:48 to go.
Chris Finch fully aware of some of the leads we've seen erased in this postseason. I don't think he's nervous yet, but he certainly would like to see a basket on this possession.
Ball a foul on Spencer. That's going to put Edwards at the line. Can't do that when you're trying to make a comeback. They put Randall at the line, actually. He was away from the ball. Randall, 29 points, 3 of 4 at the foul line. They got Santos for the foul. Julius Randle got hurt end of January last year, didn't play in the playoffs. Some weren't certain how he would fit in with this Minnesota team, but he's found his niche, and he's had a great series for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, everything he's done, he's been sure of. He just looks so confident in rhythm. He's reading the floor well. He's winning any matchup when he gets a smaller defender on him. There's just been no answer for Julius Randle throughout the postseason, but particularly in this series, even more so. And now you got both stars giving you 30-point nights.
114-98 Minnesota, 2.5 minutes away from a 3-1 series lead. And Knox throws it away. Not on the same page with Santos. So Podziemski was 3 of 14. Buddy Hield was 4 of 11 tonight. Jimmy Butler just 9 field goal attempts in 34 minutes. 14 points, only 5 free throw attempts. The Warriors 6 of 23 from 3, while Minnesota made 16 out of 33. Edwards missing there, but Knox stepped out of bounds.
So the one shot he needs to add to his repertoire is that running jump hook that he just tried. That's about the only thing that Anthony Edwards has not had in his golf bag in this series. That's going to need a little bit of polish, I think, this summer.
And I guess it's smart to look at the official right away and call for a foul, but didn't look like a lot of contact.
Every shot I took in my career that didn't hit the rim, I immediately wiped my hand on my shorts as if I had sweat on my hand. Just automatic.
Well, Anthony Edwards going to come out. Imagine his night is over with 2 minutes to go. 30-point game for Anthony Edwards, and it was that 3 at the end of whatever reason him carried over to the third quarter. They had a 17-0 run about midway through the third to blow this open.
Golden State really couldn't have played better in the first half. They did everything they needed to offensively. Any team in this league, as Moody steps into a three, get it back to 13. Any team in this league, when you're missing a star player, it's so difficult, but particularly Golden State, and how much their offense is predicated around that man right there.
13-point game after the three by Moody. Finally makes a shot. He was 0 for his last 16 before that make. A foul on Golden State. Alexander Walker will go to the line. How dangerous if the Wolves hang on, have then 3 opportunities to advance. How dangerous is this team looking at the big picture here in the 2025 postseason? Steve Kerr going to challenge that. He does not think there was a foul. So we'll answer that question on the other side. 114-101 Minnesota.
Golden State.
Floor was a foul on the Warriors. Steve Kerr challenging that with his team down 13, 146 left, because they're over the limit, so it's going to be free throws. Boy, it looked like there was contact by Spencer
Upon
here in the
review,
reach-in.
It's been determined that there was no illegal contact by Spencer.
Oh, okay, looked like he hit the elbow, but
therefore,
they say
this
no
is a
illegal
successful
contact.
challenge, and Golden State will receive their timeout back. They have no additional challenges. At the time of the whistle, there was no imminent possession, and play will resume with a jump ball.
So no illegal contact, successful challenge.
The game at the time. Please reset the shot clock to 24.
I thought that was mostly basketball. There definitely was a little bit of contact, but I think they got that one right. And if Kevin Knox had been able to grab that basketball, they would have had him in possession, but instead now you're going to have to go get the ball anyway, even though you won the challenge from a jump ball.
Jumping up at center court with Post and McDaniels. 1:46 to go. Golden State, since emptying its bench, has now made 2 threes after making 5 the entire game. And Santos blew the layup, and Post couldn't get the putback. 2 opportunities right at the rim to maybe make it interesting the final 90 seconds, but the Warriors come up empty.
Give Knox credit. He didn't give up on that play. Didn't concede the layup to Santos, able to get back and make a play on it.
Now foul on Knox. DiVincenzo hits the floor.
Chris Finch is just thinking, please get this last 124 over with. They're seeing bodies fall all over the floor. They only play 8 guys as it is.
Let's go back. We did get a chance really to answer the question because of the challenge, but assuming Minnesota hangs on and then 3 chances to get to the next round, how dangerous is this team big picture in the championship conversation?
Absolutely no question whatsoever. They are a threat to not only get to the finals, but to potentially win a championship. I just look at the way Randall's playing right now in particular, and he has really found his groove. They've got star talent. They've got great defense. They've got size. They're not as deep as probably you would like, playing 8 guys every night, but they're a very complete basketball team, and this has been impressive what they've done here tonight.
And the 2 best teams in the East are in trouble. Cleveland and Boston. And Jason Tatum. Again, we don't know the update yet. Maybe have that on SportsCenter for you. Santos with the basket. 10-point game. We already mentioned teams down 3-1 have won the series just 4% of the time in NBA playoff history. Only 13 teams in 293 instances of a 3-1 deficit have come back to win. So that's what the Celtics are facing. And that's what it looks like the Warriors are going to be facing, barring a miracle here in the last 55 seconds.
And it's always a different scenario depending on the circumstances. In this case, Minnesota, by winning 2 here, they get to go home to close out. Boston going home just to try to stay alive.
Shot clock at 8. Naz Reid missed the 3. Golden State ball. Warriors got to hurry. Down 10. Santos with a blow-by. Here's Moody. Too strong on the 3. And now a foul. That will send Alexander Walker to the line. So you got Indiana up 3-1. You've got New York up 3-1. Oklahoma City, Denver 2-2. And Minnesota 31 seconds away from up 3-1.
Yeah, it feels like the drama in this series is really all about Steph Curry. And if somehow, some way, he gets back into this series once they get back to Minnesota. Hard to envision Golden State going up there shorthanded as they are offensively with their struggles right now and winning another game in Minnesota in this series without Curry. They said an update on Wednesday. Pretty coy about it and not really revealing exactly what he's doing right now physically.
How about the parity right now in the NBA as Spencer is fouled? You've got a chance in the East to have a 3-4 matchup in terms of seeds in the conference finals, and you've got 6 away from going to the conference finals.
Yeah, right now, I mean, you look at the 3 teams, I think, in this league that were the cream of the crop all season. When you got Cleveland, Boston in the East, Oklahoma City in the West. The teams, the position they're in right now, Cleveland down 3-1. Got done what they had to by winning game 4 and getting that back even. I don't think they've played their best basketball yet of the postseason, but they won 68 games this year.
It really feels as wide open as it ever has in the NBA playoffs. I don't think many people predicted going in the teams that are leading their respective series 3-1. And there are teams that got knocked out in the first round that some people thought would get to the finals.
Yeah, and that OKC Denver series is a long way from over. It's 2-2, and Denver's got Nikola Jokic last time I looked, and a team that has won big games on the road in the playoffs during this era.
Minnesota getting sloppy here at the end, but still up 10 with 17 seconds left. And minus Edwards, Chris Finch keeping the other starters on the floor. Santos 3, but is it too late? 7 points with 10 seconds to go. They got a foul. They don't, but DiVincenzo throws it away. But can you get 3 possessions in 5.6 seconds? The answer is no. That took 4 seconds. So you got 0.6 of a second left, 7-point game. The Minnesota Timberwolves lead the Golden State Warriors 3-1, a chance to close it out on Wednesday night back in the Twin Cities. The Wolves have the most road wins in the postseason the last 2 years. And for the first time since 2016, the finals against Cleveland, the Warriors have lost 3 straight playoff games. Will Steph Curry be back on Wednesday? He'll be reevaluated in about 36 hours, and they'll make that determination as to whether he will play to try to keep the Warriors alive. Oklahoma City, Denver, 2-2 in that series. For Tim Legler, Katie George, your entire ESPN crew, Dave Pasch saying so long. Sports Center up next. Anthony Edwards will join as a guest. We'll get the latest on Jason Tatum. Highlights from both games tonight on ESPN. So long from San Francisco.
Прислушайся к земле в родных полях. Тебя веет чуждыми странами, но вместе родственный обнимет некий страх. Ты ощутишь шаги, следящие за нами. О, друг мой, не беги родной своей земли. Смотри, я жду таинственной пришлицы, и каждый час могу следящую вдали, но близкую всегда принять в мои темницы.
чувствую тебя, когда проходят мимо. Все в облике одном, предчувствую тебя. Весь горизонт в огне, и ясен нестерпимо. И молча жду, тоскуя не любя. Весь горизонт в огне, и близко появление. Но страшно мне, изменишь облик ты, и дерзкое возбудишь подозрения, сменив в конце привычные черты. О, как паду, и горестно, и низко, не одолев смертельные мечты, как ясен горизонт. И лучезарность близко, но страшно мне, изменишь облик